everyone, it's Di here from Di's Den, and I think I need to pull you in just a little bit more. There we go. And welcome to Wowza Wednesday. This week we're going to make this beautiful box. It looks a bit like a perfume bottle. How gorgeous is that? I did see it done quite a few years back, but the bottle was really huge and it was bulky and the wrong size because you couldn't fit anything in it. Everything was, it was the same width, but it was just really big. And I thought, what can you put in it? So I decided to mess around with it, and I came up with this sizing. And I measured all of these all different as well. So this box will hold a lovely bar of soap. And this one says made in Australia on it. So it smells really nice. It's pomegranate and it's pure plant oil soap, so it's a lovely soap. So anyway, it will fit a bar of soap. Now I've only got one bar of soap, so we will have to pull that out when we get a bit closer. Now I did this twice because I did it in this one because I thought you could put a nice man's soap in there if you wanted to. If you wanted to make it for a man, you know, it would look like a aftershave bottle. So I just thought it would be nice. So, but I didn't like how wide this was. To me, it just looked wrong. This one has only got the 1/8, and this has got the what is that, 1/4 inch or whatever it is, gap around the edge. And I just think, not 1/4 inch, that's a 1/8, that's 1/16. I just thought that looked way too, especially around these smaller areas like here and here. See how that looks just so wrong there. So I just, and on the top, so I just made this one with the wider things. So I'm going to show you what you need. Let's pop them out of the way for a minute. Now as I'm using an old set because we're doing a Wowza Wednesday and I always use retired, so we're going to use Dragonfly Garden, and we're only using this stamp for a true friend. So we'll just pop that there. So we're going to use this punch for these flowers. On this one I only put one flower. When we make the next one, I'm going to put 2 flowers on, 3 flowers on, because I'm going to put them around like so. So, and I'm doing them in, obviously in Gorgeous Grape. So we're going to be using that punch, and I have not got a name on that one, so I've got no idea what it's called. We're going to use this punch, which is called Rectangular Postage Stamp, and that is for this piece around the hair. We're also using a 3/4 inch circle punch, which is for cutting out the finger hole, and a 1/2 inch corner punch, quarter rounder, so that we can round the corners on our piece that goes inside. You're also going to need some red liner tape, because sticking this silver piece here to the card won't stick without it. Oh, well, I couldn't get it to stick without it, put it that way. Anyway, let's get stuck in and show you what you need. So for the main bottle, you're going to need a piece that measures 7.5 by 6.5. You're going to need 2 pieces for the front and back, which measure 3 3/8 by 2 3/8, and the one that goes on top measures 3 1/4 by 2 1/4. For the sides, whoops, that's the sides, you're going to need 2 pieces that measure 2 3/8 by 7/8 and 2 1/4 by 3/4. And then for the top of the box, which is this top piece here, if you can see just in there, alright, you'll need a piece that is 3 3/8 by 7/8 and 3 1/4 by 3/4 inch. So that's for the main perfume box. For the neck of the box, neck here, this silver bit, you're going to need a piece that is 3 7/8 by 1 3/8. For the lid, this lid piece here, you're going to need a piece of card that is 4 by 4 1/4. Okay, then you're going to need, for the top of the box, a piece that measures 2 3/8. That must be that bit. Let's have a look. Yes, the wider one. 2 3/8 by 7/8, and the designer series paper is 2 1/4 by 3/4. For the front and back of the lid, that's this piece and this piece, you're going to need 2 pieces that measure 2 3/8 by 5/8 and 2 1/4 by 1/4. For the sides here and here, you're going to need 2 pieces that measure 7/8 by 5/8 and 3/4 by 1/2 inch. So I've already stuck some of those together. So those are what we are going to be using. So let's pop them out of the way in order like this, and we will start with our perfume bottle piece, and we're going to score this on the long side, and we're going to use our scoring tool with the small ball because we're using card. So we're going to score this at 2 1/2, 3 1/2, 6 and 7. We're going to pop it onto the short side. Now it doesn't matter whether you put it at the bottom or the top. Excuse me, I still have this cough. And we're going to score this at 1, 2 and 5 1/2. Oh, that was a bit wonky. Seemed like a wonky line. Okay, so we're going to bring this out, and we're going to cut this before we actually before we actually fold and burnish it. So we're going to remove these 2 small ones on this side. And we're going to just notch that up. And then we're going to do the same with the top one. We're going to notch that, and we're going to remove that little piece just there. Alright. Now we're going to remove this section here, the next square along. Only the first square, not the second square. But we're going to cut right up to the second score line, sorry. And we're going to wedge this piece in just a little bit. We're going to leave this piece here, and now we're going to cut down to the second score line, and then cut the first square right off. So we're going to cut that all the way down to that one, pop that one off, and we're going to wedge this piece in as well, like so, and we're going to remove this whole 2 sections here. Like so. We're going to turn it around, and we're going to just cut up to the score line and wedge this piece in, and make sure that's cut nicely. Oh, that was a terrible cut, that one. There we go, that's better. And the same with this one. We're going to cut up to the first score line at the square and wedge that in as well. So our piece of card, let me move all these bits out of the way, should look like this. Oops. Okay, so we would have had it that way up with the small piece, so we've cut the 2 and the 1 away, the 2 squares here and here away, wedged those 2 and removed that piece. So now we're going to actually round the corners on this piece here, this large piece that's hanging out the top. Let me do that properly. There we go. Alright, so we've done that. So now we're going to fold it and burnish this piece. Let's move my scissors and all the rubbish. Now for me, I'm going to actually, on this piece here, this long piece, I'm going to use my 3/4 inch circle punch, and I'm going to punch my finger hole now, which is roughly in the middle between the two, just like that, wherever that piece went. There we are. Now I've done that now because once we put these on we need to do it again. So if you've got a paper that is directional, you need to make sure that for your front and your back they are landscape. For the top, whoops, which is, I don't know, one of them, it's landscape, and for the sides it's portrait. Now I'm going to put them on after I've glued my box together so that I can see excuse me, which way this goes. So I'm going to pop this tab in, and I'm going to put some glue on this tab. Oh, look at that, it's flowing really nicely this morning. I don't know if you can hear my heater going in here, but it is freezing cold outside. The sun's shining, the sun is out for a winter's day. It's beautiful outside, but cold. Okay, so we've put our box together like so. We're going to pop our top in and fold the top in for the simple reason we want our box to be nice, and we will pop it in once we get that stuck down nicely. Come on, get in there. There we go. And pop that in there because we want it to be square because of doing the bottom. Okay, so we're going to pop a bit of glue on each of these tabs, and we're going to bring in the back one. And the back one is the one with the rounded out corner. So we're going to bring that one in first, and once we're happy that that's in place, we're going to pop the other one on the top like so. And then we can open the box up again and make sure those tabs in there are down nice and tight. Okay, so now it depends on whether you want your tab on the left or the right. It doesn't really matter. I think on this one it's on the left hand side when you turn it over. This one is on the right hand side, so it doesn't really matter. So we're going to pop our pieces on. So we're going to put our front and back layers. Now this designer series paper was from a few years ago. It was a celebration pack, and it had a marble look up to it. But I just thought, you know, we always use new stuff, and I love all the new stuff. I have just got my new order, so but it is nice to use up some of our older things to show that we, you know, we can still use them. They're still lovely. We'll pop all these together first, and then we'll pop them onto the box. Got glue all over the top of that lid. Look at that. Yuck. I hate that. Okay, so we have our pieces for the front and the back, the sides and the top. Now it doesn't matter whether you want the top to be that end or that end, just make sure that the top is the one that stays at the top. So we can pop that top one on. And we're not supposed to be putting glue on the card, the bench top, are we? Oops, I've got a hair on me. Oh, my fingernails are all breaking off again. Okay, so we've done that one. We will put one of these onto the front. One of these on the side. one on the back. Oops. And as I say, if you've got directional paper, make sure that you get it in the right direction. We'll open that up now because we're going to cut that off in a second. And then we'll pop the last one on that side. I just didn't want the glue from there, that little bit, to stick to the inside of the lid. That's the only reason I opened it up. So we're going to pop the other one on this side here, like so. And then we'll bring in our punch. Now I'm going to do this from the inside because I can see it easier and I can line it up. I don't know if you can see that. I'm lining that up in there with the thing. So I'm just cutting off a little bit like so. So that is our piece. That is our box section, our bottle section. Let's pop that on one side. And now we will start with our neck piece. So we're going to bring in our scoreboard again. And we're scoring on the long side. But this time we're going to score on the back of it. If you score on the front of silver or foiled card, it seems to go like wonky lines. So if you score on the back, it seems to be a lot better. Excuse me, but we're still scoring with our small pointer, and we're scoring at 1 3/8 of an inch, 1 3/4 of an inch, 3 1/8 of an inch, and 3 1/2 inches. We're going to turn it onto the short side, and we're going to score this at 3/8 of an inch and 1 inch. If you find it easier, because it's very close in there, do the 1 inch, turn it around 180 degrees and do the 1 inch again. Okay, so let's bring this in. And this time we're going to do the same as before. We're going to cut before we start. So we're going to cut up these squares and notch them in. Oops, come on, out of there. And this end square we're going to remove. So we're going to remove that end one again. And we're going to notch this. And we're going to notch this one. Okay, so our piece should look like this. I'm going to put the lid in my pin in my glue for a minute because we won't be using it. So our piece will look like this. And we're going to fold and burnish all of these score lines. And you want to make sure that they're done nice and tight because you want it to look crisp along the edges. Let's do that one. And this one. This is actually probably the most fiddliest piece because it's tiny. And we need to do that one. That's the one. Okay. So now that we've done that, we are going to put red liner tape on these sections here, these tiny little ones. So I'm going to put a bit of red liner tape on these 4 tabs. I don't know if something fell on the floor just then. I don't know if you heard that. I don't know what it was. Hopefully it's not something I needed. and we're going to put it on the outside of this tab on the end here as well. We're also going to turn it over and put it along these two ends down this end on the inside. We haven't finished with our red liner tape yet. So once we've got that on there, let's just make sure they're down nice and firm, like so. And we will start with removing these little ones in the middle. Move. Oh, come on. There we go. Get off my finger. That's the only thing I don't... Oh, it's now stuck to me. That's about the only thing I don't like about red liner tape, is it's very, very sticky. So we're going to move these ones out of the way so we don't actually use them at the present time. And we're going to glue these ones so that they are making a nice square corner onto the one without the tape on it. So it looks like so. We'll pop them down there, give them a nice burnish over, just so that we know that they're nicely. Now we can move those ones back into place now. We're going to remove the tape from these other ones. Let's see if I can do it with my finger. Oh yeah, I did, rather than the tool. I'm not going to be able to do that this time though. Sometimes it comes, oh there we go, sometimes it will come off really easy and other times it won't. And now we're going to bring these ones in to make up that other corner. Come on, get in there. As I say, this is the fiddliest piece of the whole thing. Okay, now I can see that mine is just showing above the top of that, so I'm just going to use my scissors just to cut that bit off, because we want it to be fairly you know, nice and square. So once we've done that, we're going to pull the top off this little flap, and we're going to tip that one on the inside and bring this piece over on top of it so that it's on there nicely. Oh, everything's getting caught up here. Just going to give that a bit of a wipe down. Now I'm going to bring in my sides. Well, I am if I can get the red liner tape off. There we go. Let's bring that side in. Now it doesn't matter if they don't match up real well, because they're actually going to be on the top and the bottom. So you're not going to see them. Pull that one off, and we'll bring that one over as well. Let's turn that up the other way. Give it a rub on the table so that it sticks down nicely. Alright, so while we've got this, we've got a wide side and a narrow side. So we're going to put some more red liner tape on the narrow side at the top. And the bottom. Get off of there. And now we've finished with our red liner tape, so that's really good. Okay, once we've done that, we're now going to bring in our box again, and we're going to pull the one off of either end, doesn't matter which. So let's pull one of these ones red liner tape off. Get off my finger. Won't get off my finger. There we go. No, it's definitely stuck to me. Alright, so we know that this is the top because we have our designer series paper on here. Now this piece needs to go evenly in this way and this way. So You can eyeball it, or you can actually draw your lines in there if you wish. So I'm going to just check this. This is going to be the width just a tiny bit more that way. Yeah. Don't fall over everything. Not today. Okay, so once we've done that, we can open up our box again, and we can just run our finger across the bottom of that so that we know that that's stuck there nicely. And that's the neck of our bottle done. Alright, so we've done the neck of the bottle now. So let's pop that one out of the way. Let's turn my piece of paper with my instructions on it. And we're going to bring in our board again to do the lid. Now on the long side, which is the 4 1/4, because the other way is 4 inches, we're going to score this, and once again using the small ball at the 1 inch, 1 3/4 inch, 2 3/4 inch, and 3 1/2 inch. I'm going to turn it to the short side, and we're going to score this at 3/4 inch and 3 1/4 inch. So that is our lid done. So on this side we should have a smaller end and a larger end. So on the small end here, okay, so this is like a 1 inch, this is a 1 inch, and these are 3/4 inch. So on the 3/4 inch end, we're going to remove the square here. And then we're going to notch the next square. And then we're going to miss the 1 inch one and the 3/4 inch one, or 1/2 inch one I think it is. I don't know, let me see. That's it. It's 5/8. No, it's 3/4 inch. We're going to do that. So we're going to turn it around, and we're going to do the same at the other side. And we're just going to notch this just the tiniest little bit so that it folds in nicely. Okay, so let's get rid of those, and you can have a look and see what we've got. We've removed, there's the 1 inch, 3/4 inch, that's a 1 inch, 3/4, 3/4. So we've made, on the end that's got the 2 lots of 3/4, we've removed the corner, notched in the 2 3/4 inches top and bottom. So now we can fold and burnish this all the way through. And the sides. Oh, I've got enough bit of that red liner tape just there. I think I need to bring the vacuum cleaner out here and clean. I have so much mess on the floor at the moment. It has been so damp that I've been doing all my videos in one go, or at least a couple at a time. So that one's a bit yucky, so I'm going to cut that one back properly. There we go. Alright, so once we've done that, we're then going to bring this around and fold that into it. So this is a tab. We're going to bring that tab over, and we're going to glue this onto the tab. And we're going to bring this side over to form the box, which is the lid. Okay, so we're going to close one end in, the other end we will leave open until we have done the box. So I can just pop a little bit of glue onto that first tab, bring this one over. Now that's the back because you've got a seam line, so we're going to bring the back one in. So a little bit of glue just there, bring that one in so it's nice and square. And the front one. Excuse me. Okay. So we know that's the back because we've got this nice score line, join just there. And we know that that's the top because of that. So we're going to pop all our bits on. So let's glue all these together. I've had this flu now for over a month. And it's just this cough bit now. And I just cannot shake the cough. Everybody that I know that has had it this year has had exactly the same thing. They reckon it takes about 6 weeks for the cough to go away. Which is a bit rough really, I reckon. Okay. So this piece is going to go on the top. That's the wider piece. I'm going to put the skinny bits on the front and back. Oops, get on there straight. Now I'm going to put this one on this end. Now you can do this too of either way. I'm going to do it this way. I've done it both ways and I found this to be the easiest for me. As I say, it depends on the person, but I found it easier to put this onto here when I could just get my finger in there and make sure that I can press it down before I put this on, put the other end on and close this up. So that's going to go on that way. So let's pull the tape off. The only thing you have to watch is that you line this up nicely. So we want this section here to be this piece laying down with our back piece here. This piece laying down with the wide piece at the top. So the skinny bits on the side. And we're going to line this up so that you can just pop them in like that so you can see what you're doing. And this is the same width as this. So we need just to line it up here. So let's pop that there like so. So I can see that I have 2 squares on that side, 2.5 on this one. So 2.5 and 2.5. So I can bring that together like so. I can open this up now. So that I can just rub my finger along that so that I know that the red liner tape has stuck nicely. Once again, I can then bring in my ends. This time I want to make sure that this piece goes in first, because that's at the bottom, and then this piece with the join on the end will be on the top. Now this is where it gets a little bit difficult because you really can't glue this down and hold it, you know, like the inside bits. You've got to wait for that to dry in there on its own. Okay, so then we can pop our little piece on the end like so. But we know that our box is now just about complete. So we're going to pop the pin in our glue for a minute. And we're going to bring in the 2 that I've already made. And the other one I'm going to do with three flowers. So that's got just 2. This one will have 3. Let's pop this in here. Let's cut this out. Will it come out of this piece? Ooh, maybe not. Maybe. Yeah, there we go. There we go. So, we can't, like with this one, I actually did the edges. There's nothing that, I've tried it on that one, you can't even see it, so I'm not even going to bother. So we're going to bring in our squishy board, or whatever you want to call it, a piece of foam, and we're going to put give our flowers a bit of dimension. Once I've put one on top, I will give it another squish. And then we will do one more. Now somewhere around here I did have another one of these. Maybe that's what fell on the floor. I don't know. Let me look around, have a quick peek. If not, I will have to put that on after, as I can't see it anywhere here. Alright, if I find it in a minute, I'll put it on. Okay, so we just need a piece of scrap then for our saying here. I can't believe I've lost that. That'll be me. Alright, so let's bring in a piece of scrap paper here. Oops, this is the piece I used once before. And I'm just going to bring in my gorgeous grape, and I'm just going to squish around the edges with my dauber, just so that it's just not. Oh, there it is. I found it. I found the little thing. We'll pop that on in a few seconds. Alright, so that's that. And we will now put our say in there, for a true friend. And I have found that. Yay, look at that. I'll pop that bit of there. And pop this one on. Come on, get off my stick. Okay. Alright, so that's on there. We're going to need a couple of dimensions on the back of this so it just sits up nicely. Pop that into the middle of this one. Oh, that, I love it in this purple. It's really beautiful. I'm going to pop dimension on the back of this bigger one. In this corner. Making sure that it doesn't go over the bottom there, so when it's standing up it's not going to lean. So, and then we'll pop our other ones on either side of it. So they're going to take a few seconds to dry. While they're drying, let's pop the pin in the glue. Yep, pin in the glue. That's it. Got it around the right way. And that's our box. What do you think? That's a gorgeous idea. A lovely gift for anybody, and I reckon you could do these as nice Christmas gifts as well. You could put candy in them, or chocolates or sweets, whatever you want to call them. or you, as I say, you could make them for a male, so you could put in, so it looks like a bottle of aftershave. But I just think it's just a lovely little box, lovely idea, and as it will hold, as I say, a nice size bar of soap. So this bar of soap is 2.25 by almost 3. 2.25 by 3. So the box is a little bit bigger than that, as you can see. So, but I just, it looked wrong when I cut it down even smaller, because of like it would have been nearly the same size as this top bit. So it just looked really wrong, and this would have been so fiddly to do. So that's it. That's my project for this Wowza Wednesday. I hope you've enjoyed this. If you have, please give me a thumbs up. Leave me a comment. If you'd like the written tutorial for this, head over to Di's Den for Stamping, Crafting and Tutorial. You'll find the link down below here. If you have enjoyed this, don't forget to subscribe so that you don't miss any other videos. And I will see you again next time. Bye for now.